This presentation will consider how policies related to equity and inequity or inequality get embedded into the U.S. system of public administration. This is the first of two-part presentation on structures and systems of policy. This first presentation deals with a conceptual framework. In this course, we have been examining public management and public policy. In this presentation, we will focus primarily on public policy. Remember that public policy is any action or inaction by a government entity. The failure of Congress to pass immigration reform is an example of policy created by inaction. Failure to pass the Build Back Better plan is also policy by failure to act. Failure to adopt the John Lewis Voting Rights Act is a statement of policy. Policy actions have a variety of intents and/or impacts. Policies can affect the structure of government, such as voting and apportionment. A recent policy by the court fundamentally changed the structure of the Virginia Beach City Council. Policies can distribute goods and services to different populations in different ways, equitably or inequitably. Policies can redistribute income and wealth, equitably or inequitably. Policies also have a regulatory impact, such as how the real estate or banking industry function. Inequality can occur at any level in society. These are four main categories at which discrimination and inequality occur. A number of people today believe that despite evidence to the contrary, that discrimination occurs primarily at the individual level, and certainly it does. History and current evidence suggest that it is much broader. Institutional inequality or discrimination occurs when a single organization or institution engages in discriminatory behavior, such as the Ferguson Police Department or Wells Fargo Bank. Structural discrimination occurs when there are patterns across different departments and agencies and organizations, such as the criminal justice system, or the healthcare system, or the banking system, or the real estate system. Widespread discrimination crosses all of these different structures, and it becomes systemic. As we look at questions of equity within public policy in this course, we are considering the impacts on 7 different groups of people. Policy areas for you to think about as we go through the course include the 6 on this slide: criminal justice, education, voting, housing, healthcare, and economics. Policies in each of these areas and others will affect different groups in different ways at different times. The development and adoption and implementation of public policy within the U.S. government structure is extraordinarily complex. It involves the 5 different ways that we've examined how policy can be enacted. However, these areas are replicated at the federal level, across 50 very different states, and almost 20,000 cities, 16,000 towns, and over 3,000 counties, plus roughly 50,000 special districts. When we layer the multi-tiered governmental system and the different ways in which policies are enacted on top of the different policy areas and the different populations impacted, the complexity of the system becomes obvious. Once inequality is embedded into the system, it is extraordinarily difficult to dismantle.